everybody. It's Mayor Jane again for our afternoon Facebook Live. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join us. And hopefully we are going to impart some information that is very relevant and informative, which is what information is made to be. And we have yet another incredible guest with us today. It is Michael Francis of the Florida Orchestra. So welcome, Michael. And we're very glad to have you here. And we will get back with you in just a second. I want to give a couple of updates for the COVID-19. The situation as of today is we are up to 1,163 cases, including 24 deaths. We had an additional death in the last 24 hours. I say every single day, each of those numbers represents an individual who has left family and loved ones behind. So our thoughts and prayers go to each of those individuals. There have been 34,728 positive cases in the state of Florida, 1,314 deaths. We, according to Dr. Lockwood, hit our peak in this community back in April, the first week of April. Now, that can be a little confusing because the positive tests continue to go up, but that's a relative number relative to the number of tests that we're giving. And so we're still on that downward trajectory, which is a good thing. And we need to keep it that way. So please, I encourage everyone to go out and get tested. You should be able to find those locations and those times on Hillsborough County's website. Also, you can call 813-272-5900 to make an appointment. If the line is busy, I know it's frustrating, please call back and make an appointment and go out and get tested. The more data we have, the better informed we are, and the better decisions that we can make regarding your health and safety. So very, very important. The Hillsborough County has also opened up a helpline to provide relief for individuals that live within Hillsborough County to help with rent and mortgage and utility payments. And you can call 813-274-6710 to apply for that. And I encourage you all to do that. And that line may be busy as well, but again, call back. And if for some reason they have run out of funding, there was $15 million in the CARES Act that was put towards that relief program. And if that runs out, it's my hope that they will put additional funding into that. So please call if you need that assistance. As we all know, the governor announced that he is going to phase 1 of opening up our state. What that means for us locally is that we are going to open up some of our parks, and there will be a list forthcoming. It will be on our website by late afternoon. I guess it is late afternoon, but it'll definitely be there this evening. And that will have a listing of all of the parks that we are going to open up. You will be able to have small exercise groups, and by small, that means no more than 10, and you have to be able to do the 6-foot distance separation. The restrooms and the playground facility will not be open, so don't count on that. The dog parks will be open. Boat ramps, canoe launches will be open, or kayak launches will be open as well. And then we're also opening our beaches, and we will have our code enforcement and law enforcement monitoring to make sure that we don't have large crowd gatherings there. Also, what the governor's order said was that retail and restaurants could open with 25% capacity. So look for an announcement on that as well. We're doing all we can to help out our restaurants and our retail locations as well. It's critically important that our economy get back open, but that we do it very thoughtfully, and we do it very, very slowly and very methodically. Another reminder to complete your census, critically important, and everyone, and I mean everyone, needs to complete the census. You can fill out the paper application or survey that landed in your mailbox. If you didn't get that, you just go online to census.gov. This is what determines how much funding we get from the federal government. It is critically important that everyone be counted. So please go fill out that census and make sure your neighbors, when you go outside tonight at 6 p.m. for the dance party, the iHeart dance party, make sure you yell at your neighbors, fill out your census. Very, very important. It's how we get our funding, and it's also how we get our political representation in Washington, D.C. So we want our voice to be heard, and we want our citizens to be counted. Go to tampagov.net for all the COVID-19 information you ever wanted. We've got all kinds of information on there. And if there's something that you can't find on there, please give us a call and we will find the answer and add the information for you. All right, now let's get to our guest, Michael Francis. He was appointed music director of the Florida Orchestra in the fall of 2014. He is now entering his 5th season with a contract extension through 2023-2024 season. His role in building a wide variety of transformative community engagement initiatives has significantly grown the orchestra. And I tell you, my hat's off to you because you really have come up with some very, very creative ways to engage the youth in our community and also entertain all ages. So thank you for what you do. So a former double bass player in the London Symphony Orchestra, Michael Francis came to prominence as a conductor in January of 2007, stepping in for Valerie Gergiev and John Adams with the LSO. And we are lucky to have him in Tampa today. So welcome, Michael. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. And congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
On your 1-year anniversary. What an easy year you've had, particularly the last few months.
Isn't it? I mean, that's like people are like, what about? I go, oh, come on, this is nothing, pandemic, whatever. Anybody, we can handle it all. There's no doubt about it. I just like the quote that a friend of mine said, that the month of March was the longest year of their life. So, you know, it really does feel like that. It's like, my goodness, all the days are running together. So
you're doing a marvelous job, and I think we all recognize that. So thanks.
I appreciate it. We have an incredible team, and our community is just unbelievable. That's the reason that we have been able to be successful in reducing the number of cases, is the response from the community, everyone taking their level of personal responsibility very seriously. And so I'm humbled to be a part of this community, and I couldn't be more proud of the way that we have responded to help each other out. And also, again, just realizing our level of personal responsibility in this and doing what we can to keep the transmission to a minimum. So we have hit May. This is it, May 1 today, which would normally be the grand finale for the Florida Orchestra season. So what's it been like for the TFO not to be able to perform live for the community as this crisis unfolds?
I would say, well, thank you for the question. I would say very difficult. I mean, for us, of course, art is a time, and concerts are a time for people to come together. It's both the moments of healing, both of inspiration, they're entertaining, but they're moments where we learn empathy for each other. Mm-hmm. And so this, it feels like the time in which we should be offering the most amount of music, and live music, because nothing else is like that. So to not be able to perform at this time, of course, it's necessary that we protect everybody, but equally cruel that we can't allow our talents and gifts and this wonderful music to be able to really heal and reach the people. So strange, disconcerting, and somewhat sad, but necessary.
Yes, so true. And I have noticed that in the last couple of weeks, they've had small little pop-up concerts on the roof of some of the buildings downtown. And those things just bring, you know, to your point, it can never be the same as live, but you know, it's just whatever way we are able as a community to come together is wonderful. And trust me, we are going to have a big party when this is over, and the TFO will be a large part of that. So even without the concerts, how are you keeping the music alive, and how are you keeping it going in our community?
Well, I mean, we still believe that people need arts. As what we've
Yeah.
seen, of course, is that I think this whole isolation shows how utterly essential the arts are. Can you imagine being at home now without the arts, without music, without reading, without poetry, without television or movies? I mean, every time you watch a movie, you're listening to an orchestra. So I think what we've seen is how essential we are. So what we want to make sure is that we've been reaching out, and through our Facebook pages and TFO at home, we've been having videos. We've actually put the whole orchestra together, everybody isolated in their own spot, and then actually able to perform. So that's really been incredible. So short video Tchaikovsky Symphony No. 4, we're making new things all the time. And we've been broadcasting concerts on Thursday nights. So really trying to keep going, and our musicians have been stellar in reaching out and doing huge amounts of things for all the people who, of course, are desperately missing us.
Right. And thank goodness for technology so that, you are able to bring that. So I have to ask you something. So with the movies, when you watch those, it's always, it's interesting because as I get older, I can, my hearing goes. And so I like to put on the captions, and I always have to read when it says like tense music, suspenseful music, those kind of things. And it annoys my family, but it makes me laugh. So that's all that matters. But, so when you're watching a movie, do you sometimes get so focused on the music that you miss the dialogue in the movie? I mean, sort of it's like it's your profession and it's your trade, it's your craft. So do you just get lost?
I think you make a good point. I mean, for example, if you watch Jaws without the music on, it's an advert for Martha's Vineyard. It's nothing. Yes. But you put on John Williams at the bottom, it's terrifying. When I was in a London Symphony Orchestra, I was fortunate to play on the soundtracks for Star Wars, Harry Potter's, and I did some of the Lord of the Rings. So I'm part of the films that you hear. And so I do tune into it, of course, and hear it. What I hear the most, which is often annoying for my family, is I'll hear when they're making mistakes or the intonation is not quite right. And then I get, they're out of tune. That really annoys my wife.
Oh, I'll bet. That's right. Just when the important part, the dramatic part is happening, you're like, they're out of tune. And I always tell everyone too, when they visit Florida and they talk about, going into the water and sharks and things, I said, look, it's all safe. I said, the only time you need to worry is when you start to hear Donna. Unfortunately, they don't, kids don't even get that anymore. And now they laugh at Jaws. I mean, that just petrified us when we were young. But anyway, so what do you think about the coronavirus pandemic and what that has taught us about the arts? Do you feel has it resulted in a deeper appreciation for the arts?
I think so. I think what we realize is, of course, how much we're missing community. And one of the great things that arts do, as well as provide tremendous economic value to a community, is, of course, they're designed to bring people together. And even though we can respond digitally, there is nothing like sharing it, because if you watch a movie on your own, you might laugh, but if you watch it with all your friends, it's suddenly hilarious. It's amplified. And that's the same when you listen to music. It's a totally different experience listening with your headphones, where you can do other things. But when you're in a concert, you turn your phone off and you engage, and you listen to the conductor or whomever talking about the composer, teaching you and guiding you. Everything changes in that. And so I think what this taught us is how absolutely important it is that we go back to the old-fashioned thing of just live, being together, sharing it, eating together. I mean, restaurants, of course, they're wonderfully artistic as well, but just we need each other, and the arts are the ultimate epitome of how to bring a community together.
Yes, without a doubt, and it's interesting to hear the responses from my family, from my friends, from coworkers that are that are sheltering in place, and the things that they have to say about, the time, the slow pace of their day that affords them the ability to appreciate the small things that they have passed by in the rush of daily life in our past. So I do hope that is a silver lining from this virus, is that we have a deeper appreciation of each other first and foremost, but we have that deeper appreciation of the arts, and take the time to slow down and notice, the beauty that surrounds us.
Yeah, and I think you say that wonderfully well. And of course, that's what music teaches us, is to go from adversity to beauty,
Hmm.
and that time to really just to what is important in life. And it is exactly the things that you just mentioned. It is that stuff that we are missing. You don't know what you've got until it's gone, and that's a
Yes,
classic cliche, but it's never been more proven correctly than it is right now.
yes, without a doubt.
You know,
So for
interesting.
people,
One thing I would say, which is interesting, I was surprised at it, was the Spotify CEO said that the desire for classical music has gone up way above what they expected. So people are realizing how important it is to have their soul enriched, and of course,
yeah.
that's what classical music offers. It's such a rich, complicated thing over 400 years.
Yes, without a doubt. And my kids make fun of me whenever they come in, and I'll have, you know, opera just blaring, and they look at me like, what is wrong? It's just, but you hope that those things wear off as well, and that they're so caught up at a young age in their lives, but hopefully there'll be a appreciation for that. So for people who want to help, what's the best way to support the Florida Orchestra right now?
So I would say the best way would be if you have got tickets to see our concerts, and this week we had an amazing concert with Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. We would ask you to consider donating the tickets back. That really is
Oh, there you go.
important for us. Of course, you can imagine how much revenue we've lost as a result of this, and giving us a way to really look after the musicians, who of course are your neighbors. These are people who live here amongst you and with you, normal people who have extraordinary skills. And donations, I mean, people may not know that actually we only receive about 30 or 40% of our income comes from tickets. The rest is contributed revenue. So be generous.
Yes.
We all need your help, lots of important charities. But what are we going to do when we come out of this? Well, we're going to need the arts, and the orchestra
Yes.
here is thriving and ready and to serve you in the best possible way.
Without a doubt. And that's one of the things that I talk about when I talk about the significance of arts and culture. I said since the beginning of time, when an army would invade a nation or a people, the first thing they destroyed was the art. And that's because it goes at the heart of your culture and your existence as a society, as a community. And so it is critically important, and it's something that we tend to take for granted. And so we ask all of our listeners, do not take it for granted. We have got to support the Florida Orchestra, without a doubt. Such a wonderful, wonderful, um, just value in our community. So thank you so much. So what's ahead for the Florida Orchestra?
So now we are still continuing to do as much as we can on social media, and then our season ends at the end of May, and we were right now preparing for what a season might look like in a COVID or a post-COVID world, and how do we respond to it with social distancing.
Mhm.
I mean, Beethoven's Ninth Symphony has an awful lot of people squashed close together, so we may not be able to perform that straight away.
Yes.
So what do we do to make sure that we can continue to reach? And of course, we know that people have lots of different styles and interests, but we perform with Sting, we do pop concerts, jazz, we do classical, we play to 27,000 school children each year. So we do so many things, and we play to nearly 100,000 people for free on top of that. So we will be planning, making sure we're very successful. And I think I like that Ben Folds quote. He says there are two types of cities with orchestras and cities that stink. And
Oh,
I
I
think,
like that.
and,
I'll have to
and
start using
I
that.
think
That's
it's very
awesome.
true.
Yes, that's absolutely perfect. Okay, you're used to traveling all over the world. So what's it been like or what's it been like for you to be here, stuck here in the best city in the world, but nonetheless, you're not able to travel?
Well, my wife's from here. She went to Gaither High
Um,
School. So, I mean, I feel very, very connected. This is absolutely home for me. So I'm not missing jet lag. I usually am
I'll bet.
slightly permanently jet lagged in some form. So I really love being at home. I mean, of course, I'm really enjoying, and like I started bird watching, getting to see
Oh,
the amazing nature that we have here
uh-huh.
in Florida. So I love that side of it. And I'm missing traveling and conducting, but I really suppose I miss the most as the Florida Orchestra musicians and the people
Oh,
who come
yeah,
to
your friends, your
us.
yeah, coworkers, but friends more so. It's funny. That's one of the things that my sister said was the bird watching, the things that she noticed that she hadn't noticed before. So we have one last question. How can we make this is from Devron Garbus, and he wants to know how we can make Florida a center for the arts and culture.
Well, first and foremost, we have to ask why we should do that. And if you think about, I read a statistic that in 2015, the arts contributed $760 billion to the US economy. That's twice or three times the size of agriculture and above transportation. So arts are essential for bringing us together. And the way we do it, first and foremost, excellence. Be the best. Be amazing at what you do and share your gift around partnerships, teaching, giving. Where you see somewhere that's not working, go into that place. And knowing that the arts are not necessarily just about big institutions, but about everywhere that's going on. So really continue to do the very, very best, create partnerships, work with passion, and then these things happen. And guess what? We already are becoming a center for the arts right here in Tampa Bay. In fact, Tampa Bay has now got a wonderful reputation as being a tremendously successful place for arts and culture. And that's also thanks to your support. So
thank you very much. Thank you so much. What a wonderful way to end. That was absolutely perfect. Thank you, Michael.
And congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks. Looks like I got a little bit of a surprise going on here.
I think so.
All right. So now we are going to look at, as I think you may or may not know, this is my 1-year anniversary. So we have a video that is getting ready to play. But first, I say hello to everybody. Hey, how are you guys doing? Thank you all so much for taking
Happy anniversary.
Hey, Mayor.
Happy anniversary.
Hey,
That's great.
oh, how exciting.
Happy birthday, Jane.
Great.
Happy anniversary, Jane.
Thank you so much.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Thank you. Look at Buckhorn.
Oh, look at Buckhorn.
All right. The Buckhorn, look at him. Yeah, you're happy. You didn't write anything about this, mister. Somebody's doing my face mask wearing anyway. Somebody.
Dad.
Hey, Kathy.
And Bob.
Hey, guys.
Hey, there's our Sheriff and Nikki. How are you? Hey, Richard.
Your whole family's on.
Oh my goodness, the whole group.
Hey, Mayor.
Hey, how you guys doing? Alexander Man. Hey, Brian. Vanessa, thank you so much for the cake.
Oh, the kid.
Thank you, but
Hi, guys.
Woo. And I'm so sorry that
I'm on the phone right now.
call back. But
Thaddeus is in the house.
how you doing? Good to see you, sir.
This is so awesome.
Everybody doing? So good to see everybody. Hey, Brian.
Hey.
Jane, what's going on?
Hey, not much. How are you? Okay.
Oh, there's
All
Uncle
right,
Brian.
everybody. I think we are getting ready to play a video. So, everybody,
No.
take do it. Oh, thank you all very much. Are they all going away, or they get to stay here?
Oh,
Happy anniversary. We're here.
Right, well, thank you. Thank you all so very much. I appreciate it. Hey, Ross, I don't think I have ever seen you with a
Hey,
baseball
Sharon.
on. How are you?
Hey, Keith.
hey, Anna.
Ever.
Anniversary,
Hey.
Hey, guys. All right.
So nice to see
Anna.
everybody.
Hey,
Thank
Sheriff.
you so much. Buckhorn, I have to give you a call. You're in deep trouble. Yeah, without a doubt.
Bob,
So
Bob,
go ahead. Yeah.
he's muted.
Oh, you're muted, Bob. See, he doesn't have an IT team anymore, so that's the problem right there. That's why I have everybody that keeps me from.
There you go.
All right, I'm back.
Hey, Bob, you're still my favorite mayor.
Wow.
Wow,
Oh.
harsh. Yes, I'm not going home this evening. Richard, are you actually at Ukulele?
No, I'm not.
The background, I like that background.
That's cool.
We had a meeting on Easter Sunday. We did a family
Hey,
Zoom.
Steely.
And, hey, Steely. And we did one, and my nephew was in it was hilarious. Hey guys. Hey. Where's Sir?
Where's your egg from?
Can y'all see me?
Hey, chicken.
Yeah.
See you, Titus.
You can't miss.
too.
There's Bo Killian. How are you, sir? All right. Good to see you guys. What's happening?
Hey.
All right. Do what?
Play the video.
All right. We will talk soon. We're getting ready to play a video. Thank you guys very much. This is
Thank
so
you, Mayor.
sweet.
Happy
Let's all
anniversary.
sing happy
Thank you for
birthday. Let's
everything.
sing happy birthday really quick.
love
Happy
you.
birthday to you.
To you.
Happy birthday to you.
To you.
Happy Birthday,
birthday.
Mayor. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to
Princess
you.
from the Florida Orchestra is ready to
Yeah, right.
And I could conduct it, you know.
He's never heard anything.
You know, I haven't conducted for weeks. I couldn't keep them together. I was
That's
useless.
right. That's right.
lost
You
it.
can only, there's only so much you can do. There's no doubt about that. Thank you guys so much. That is so
Hey,
sweet.
Brian.
Thank you all. I
Hey,
love
guys.
you all very,
I'll
very
see you
much.
later.
Love you. See you at home soon.
Hello, Tampa. This is Mayor Jane Castor. 1 year ago today, I swore an oath to be your mayor, to uphold and defend the charter and ordinances of the city of Tampa, to support the Constitution, and to well and faithfully perform my duties as the 59th mayor of this great city. As a lifelong resident, it has been my greatest honor to lead our city over the past year. In good times and in bad, our community has shown one-of-a-kind resilience. We've celebrated together, we've overcome obstacles together, we've thanked our heroes, and we've helped our neighbors. This past year, we made major strides towards transforming Tampa's tomorrow, and this is just the beginning. From new community traditions like Boom by the Bay and New Year's Eve, to getting down to work fixing our roads, renewing our pipes, and shining a light on every corner of our city. We worked hard, we played hard, and we grew stronger together. Even now, as we face this global COVID-19 crisis, I have never been more hopeful for our city's future. Because if there's one thing I know to be true, it's that Tampa has grit. We still have roads to pave, big dreams to fulfill, and unforgettable memories to make together. And we are not slowing down. While it may seem like the world has stopped, I want you to know we have not stopped working for you. Our City of Tampa team is moving full steam ahead, laser focused on achieving our goals and building the city we all want to live, work, and play in. Our community is bigger than any obstacle, and together we are unstoppable. Let's continue transforming Tampa's tomorrow so that our kids and their kids can be proud to call our city home. Tampa is the greatest city in the nation, and I thank you for allowing me to lead us into this next chapter.